They had seen it eat through metal, burn through flesh, and dissolve entire life forms within seconds. On their world, water was the most corrosive substance known, a liquid so deadly, even a single drop meant certain death. So when a human crash-landed on Zarnok 7 and calmly asked for a glass of it, the aliens froze. Was this madness? A suicide ritual? Or ... something far more terrifying? What happened next shattered everything they thought they knew. The human didn't scream, didn't melt. He drank it with satisfaction. For the Zarnokians, it was like watching someone gulp lava or bathe in acid. And in that moment, they realized a horrifying truth. The substance they feared most was what humans were made of. And if water didn't kill them, what possibly could? The world of Zarnok 7 orbited a binary star system, making it one of the driest habitable planets in the galaxy. Its atmosphere was rich in nitrogen and ammonia, and the planet's life forms had evolved without a single drop of water. Instead, they relied on a complex system of ammonia-based biochemistry. Rainfall on Zarnok 7 was a terrifying event, not rain as we know it, but rare hydrogen crystal storms that corroded anything with the slightest trace of oxygen. Water, to the Zarnokians, was the ultimate threat. It was not just corrosive. It was mythical in its danger. Ancient scrolls spoke of water falling from the sky in early epochs, wiping out entire primitive civilizations. Their ancestors called it Varnak-Ur, the Soul Eater. Contact with even vapor form resulted in rapid tissue decay, and liquid exposure meant instant, agonizing death. Because of this, Zarnokian science advanced rapidly in atmospheric control, sealing environments, and chemical barriers. Their spacefaring vessels were constructed to ensure complete water avoidance, using highly advanced scanning technologies to detect even trace amounts. So when a deep space distress beacon led them to a wrecked Terran shuttle on the dry dunes of Sector 14, they had no idea what they were about to witness. The crash Lieutenant Commander Alex Mercer of the Terran Interstellar Reconnaissance Corps had been orbiting the Diluvian cluster on a routine surveillance mission. A micro-wormhole anomaly had knocked out his ship's systems, forcing an emergency descent onto the nearest habitable planet, Zarnok 7. He'd crash-landed hard but survived, thanks to the reinforced carbon shell of the Terran Class 4 escape module. He was lucky to be alive. Or maybe not, depending on what the locals had in mind. Mercer regained consciousness to find himself in a containment field, his limbs restrained, and a dozen oddly insectoid figures peering at him from behind reinforced plasma glass. They spoke in a strange staccato, clicking and chirping, but Mercer's translator embedded in his neck implant quickly calibrated to their dialect. Subject appears fluid-based. Internal temperature stabilizing. No sign of corrosion despite high liquid content. Impossible, another voice said. It walks with Varnak-Ur in its veins. Mercer blinked, still groggy. Water, he croaked. Need water. The room fell silent. Liquid death to the Zarnokians. His request was nothing short of suicidal. One of the guards retreated in fear. Another activated a decontamination protocol, dousing the walls with anti-corrosive gas. The commander, a tall Zarnokian with biocrystalline armor, leaned toward the intercom. Why do you request the Varnak-Ur Terran? Are you defective? Dehydrated. Mercer replied, his voice dry and cracking. I need it to live. That statement nearly triggered a panic. How could a being not only tolerate but need water? Their understanding of biochemistry had no precedent for this. The Zarnokian Science Council convened. Mercer's body composition scans had revealed that 60% of his mass was water. His cells operated in an aqueous environment, his organs lubricated and cooled by this same corrosive element. He should be dead, the lead biologist hissed. But he isn't, the commander replied, uneasily. And we must find out why. The test eventually, curiosity triumphed over caution. They prepared an isolated chamber for testing. The chamber had full emergency shutdown systems in place and was lined with the most water-resistant material they had. Drone retrieved a containment vial from Mercer's crashed PATA standard issue Terran emergency water pack. It was brought into the test chamber and placed before him, while the alien observers watched from behind 10 layers of shielding. Mercer reached out, opened the cap, and drank deeply. He sighed in relief. The aliens recoiled. Monitors beeped wildly. Readings flowed in. No decay, no corrosive reaction. The liquid that should have torn him apart was instead stabilizing his system. And then, the real terror began to sink in. Biology rewritten, the Zarnokian scientists began re-evaluating everything. They thought they knew about chemistry, biology, and life itself. Water, the universal solvent on Earth, was the basis of carbon-based life, a concept they had dismissed as impossible. On Zarnok 7, life had evolved in ammonia-rich, dry environments with metallic enzyme analogs. Their cells were built to reject water violently, but Earth was 70% water. Entire ecosystems, from microbes to megafauna, evolved in watery environments. Rain fell from the skies. Oceans covered continents. Rivers carved canyons. Humans swam in the very liquid that Zarnokians considered apocalyptic. More terrifying still, humans didn't just survive water. They thrived in it. Psychological fallout. The revelation sparked chaos on Zarnok 7. Religious sects declared the human an avatar of death. Prophets spoke of the floodbringer destined to drown their world. Military analysts feared that if humans could control water, weaponize it, they possessed a force beyond atomic devastation. Their paranoia wasn't entirely irrational. On Earth, water had been used as a weapon: hydraulic warfare, flash floods, tsunamis, even directed water cannons for crowd control. In the wrong hands, water was absolutely lethal. And now, those hands had just crash-landed on Zarn OK-7. The message: Mercer, aware of the chaos unfolding around him, requested a meeting with the Planetary Council. Still viewed as a walking weapon, he was escorted under heavy guard to the central hall. He stood before them, tall, calm, and still very much hydrated. "I come in peace," he began. "I didn't mean to crash here. But now that I have, I want you to understand something important." The council leaned in. "On my world, water is life. We build cities near it. We travel on it. We drink it. We cleanse with it. It isn't a weapon unless you force it to be. If you fear it, I understand. But don't fear me because I embrace it." A silence fell. Then, for the first time in Zarnokian history, they applauded. Cultural exchange. What followed was an unprecedented cultural exchange. Mercer helped them construct sealed, miniaturized aquatic ecosystems to study Earth life forms. He demonstrated water's role in everything from agriculture to medicine. In return, he learned about ammonia-based life, the complex crystalline nervous systems of Zarnokians, and their society built around dry resonance technology. Water samples were studied, purified, analyzed. Within months, Zarnokian scientists began engineering synthetic containment vessels that allowed them to experiment safely. They marveled at Terran life's adaptability, especially humans' ability to regulate hydration, survive high humidity, and utilize water for both cooling and energy. One day, a Zarnokian youth dipped a gloved finger into a microdroplet. It didn't burn thanks to the new containment gel. He smiled. The return Mercer was eventually rescued by a Terran vessel, but not before leaving a legacy behind. The Zarnokians erected a monument in Sector 14, a crystal sculpture shaped like a Terran water droplet. Beneath it was inscribed a message in both languages: "That which we feared, they called home. From understanding comes strength." In time, Zarnokians would become Earth's staunchest allies, not because of politics, not because of trade, but because of water, because of what it taught them, That fear is often just unfamiliarity, and sometimes what seems like death to one species is life to another. Final thoughts. Water is one of the most common and critical elements for life as we know it. Yet in different environmental contexts, it could be deadly. Earth's water-based biology is not universal, and the concept of life based on ammonia or methane is scientifically plausible. This story, while fictional, rests on very real scientific possibilities that life could evolve very differently elsewhere, and that what sustains one form of life could annihilate another. In the end, the tale of Zarnuk 7 is about more than water. It's about perspective, about respect, and about the beautiful, terrifying diversity of life across the stars.